Hello, everybody. This is Minimark, and I'm here with a Vintage Masters draft. This is my second Vintage Masters draft. It's that I've recorded, rather. And see, we got Fire Blast is a good time. Just a card that I enjoy. Astral Slide's a really fun deck. You basically just get this bunch of cyclers and then things that have good enter battlefield effects. So, like you cycle Gilded Light, Flicker Scrivener, cycle Gilded Light, bounce Scrivener, and you just get a bunch of card advantage off of that. What's the rare? Cast only before the combat damage step. Gains plus X plus 1 on a turn where X is its power. Destroyed if it attacked this turn. Okay, so that's interesting. There's also Valley creatures like Mana War and Phantom Nomad. There's a removal spell, and then there's an Animate Dead in the event that we want to go with an Animate Dead. There's also Goblin Matron and Kindle for burns for removal and creatures and stuff, but I think I'm just going to take the Expunge. Like, I just really enjoy having a hard removal spell in a format where there's a lot of creatures that it's really difficult to deal with. So, reveal the top card of your library until you reveal a basic land. Put all cards into your hand and put that card in your hand. Okay, so you fill your graveyard up with stuff. Would have been really nice if I took the Animate Dead, because then I could have went Animate Dead into Hermit Druid, and then I could have had a really nice combo that I could have started doing some cool stuff with. So cards we have here, we have Shelter, Grunts are fine, Aftershock's fine as well. Elite's okay. Not really a lot of like great cards for us right now. So we could go like a black-white aggressive and just take a Shelter as like a way of countering one of their spells that target one of our guys. Or we can take an Aftershock as a way of having more removal. And I think I'm going to go with the Aftershock. I really do like the red base decks, and I want to try to make one for you guys if I could. So what do we have here? Comes blocked, you can remove it. Afterlife, you get to kill something and then put a 1/1 out for them. Choking Sands, Sarcomancy. Yeah, not, again, great stuff here. I mean, there's a Trapper, and that really is just the best card in the pack. Everything else here is, I mean, there's the Worm, and if we go into the Madness deck, it's a very good card. The issue is that's blue-green, and we already have two pretty good cards. So I think I'm just going to take the Trapper, though. Like, the rest of these cards are fine, but this card is, like, super good at, because it just, taps a creature. Tappers are always good in a format where there's a lot of very, very impactful creatures. So let's see. Emissary. So that's a pretty good card in the aggressive deck. There's also Lurking Evil, which is just kind of crazy. You have Maya Hollow, which is interesting. Use it to regenerate. Let's see. I'm leaning towards the Emissary right now, just because... Whoops. Just because I think it's, it's a nice, good aggressive creature. Has 2 power, and then you have pay a white, make it unblockable. For the most part in this format, that's what you're doing with it. Not looking at really any of these lands over here. Like, they're cute, but they're not great. I don't think we're playing any of these cards. So I think we're just going to take the Emissary and maybe try to see maybe try to go base white and then find a support color. All right, well, I'm a big fan of that. Armor is really good, especially on an Emissary. You go turn 2 Emissary, turn 3 Armor, and then it's really bad. It's also extremely good on Deathblade Elite, because it's basically you just Abyss them, because Provoke makes them untap and they have to block. So I think it's just the armor here is really good. There's also Judgment for removal, but I've had great success with the armor. Horde's also really good. Just a 4-drop 5/5 that makes you discard a card. It's not great, but it's definitely good. And then there's like Giant Strength, Solar Blast, Cougar, which, they're fine. And then Shelter's like probably the second card I would have taken, but I definitely want the armor. Okay, so we have some options here. Um, there's the Elite, which goes really good with the armor, and also for 2 mana, it basically removes a blocker. It says target creature can't block this turn, and tap it. There's Afterlife, just lets us kill something. Instant speed always is very nice to do. And then there's Judgment, which is fine, but I think I'm going to take... I'll take the Elite. No, I'm going to take the removal. Some people don't know how good Elite is, so it's possible I can get away with taking the Afterlife. And then, because we saw an Elite earlier on. Alright, so a Tapper. Ooh, Goblin Trenches. Okay, well, I'm going to take the Trenches, and I'm pretty sure we're going a white base deck with some red in it. We can even splash the Trenches. It's not the worst thing, but yeah. I mean, this card's pretty good, but this card wins games. You can just be like, end of turn, sack 2 lands, make 4 goblins, and then if you have like a Rites of Initiation or something as a finisher in a deck like this, it can get kind of dirty. So we need to start looking for, some of the really nice cheap creatures. Ah, cool. So there's a Planecycler if we're worried about fixing, but I mean, we're not really. We look like going to be a fairly white deck. We might want a red cycler at some point, but we're not going to prioritize that. Ritual's here, Ivory Tower's here. I mean, these cards are definitely cards, but I think Benevolent Bladeguard's definitely the pick. Just sack it to give one of your guys protection from a color. It's kind of like a on the battlefield counter spell for a targeted effect, which is still fine. It's not great, but that pack didn't really have a ton in it. Wow. So there's Stoic Champion, which is really good if we were playing the cycling deck, which we have seen a ton of cards for, so somebody's definitely getting fed that. So we're going to get cut in pack 2 because they're going to be looking for a lot of good white cards. Or we can just take the Nomad. I think we're taking the Nomad. We don't have a ton of cyclers. I don't think we have any yet. And it's a 2/2 that when it would be dealt damage, you prevent it and remove a counter, which makes it super good with armor. Because if it can't remove the counter, because it doesn't have the ability to, because there are no counters on it, it still prevents the damage. So, yeah, it's pretty good. So do we take the Deathblade Elite or the Shelter? I think we're just going to take the Shelter. Again, it's just like counter a targeted spell. We don't have one of either yet, so I prefer to pick up the Shelter. I think we can find replacements for Deathblade Elite. Okay, so there's a Falter, which is really good in this deck because it just lets us kill them, but I think we can get one of these later. We can take just a 2/2 flyer, or we can take a Brilliant Halo. Let's take the Evasion creature. You're just trying to, we can poke a little bit in the air with that. Sure, we'll take the Seal. Not going to run it, main. Sweet, we got the Deathblade Elite from that one. Any Gen Step, if a creature died, draw a card. Sure. And then deal 4 damage for 1 in a black. Alright, so that was an okay pack. Oh, I don't think I mentioned this, but the reason I'm making this on Saturday instead of on Friday like I normally do is I was busy running around doing 50 billion things yesterday, so I hope you will forgive me. If you don't, well, then that's too bad because, I'm a do me. Do 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 do. So there's definitely cards in this pack. There's a Falter, but again, we've seen that come really late. There's another Shelter. There's also a Trooper, who is just basically an unblockable 2/2 that attacks every turn. Attacks each turn of Fable. I mean, it's an alright card. I think it's our pick. I don't really think we have an option anywhere else. We can take like a Goblin Patrol if we wanted to go a little bit deeper on the red plan. We could take the Shelter, but we already have one. I think a Trooper is going to be better than a Shelter right now. There's a Reanimate, which is pretty good. If we want to splash, we have that. There's also Chainer's Edict in the pack. Like there's a lot of pretty good cards, but I think the Trooper's probably just the pick. Reckless Charge is pretty good too, but I don't know. I think we just want to get a bunch of dudes and just start beating down with that. There's Blessing. Oh, that's a really good card. But if we're going to be the aggressor, I don't... I mean, so what you do is you play it, you copy their best creature, you attack them with it, and there is a non-zero chance that when you attack them with it, it's going to be... like, I don't know. You want to use this in a deck where you're looking for big finishers. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. I think we're just going to take a Chroma's Blessing, though. Creatures you control gain protection of the color of your choice, and it can cycle. It's, very good. You have a bunch of dudes out, and then you say, oh, you have all red guys out, so protection from red. You get to swing in. Plus, we've seen a lot of these cards wheel already. Not really much here for us. There's another Aftershock, but that may not even make the cut as is. It's a Prophetic Bolt. But we're pretty much just going to be mono white almost. So I don't want to splash, quote unquote, splash two colors. I think I'm just going to take the Judgment. The Cougar hopefully will come back around, and if not, it's a common. We have a chance to get it again later. And we can always find maybe one of the, like a fetch land or something that can help us out, or one of the shock land, or the pain lands, or whatever. But yeah, there's not really a ton here for us in the pack, but that'll be fine. All right, Faithful, I don't think we really care about. Seal's not the best. Torch is pretty good though. It makes it so it's hard. So if they have, Counterspell up, then Counterspell all of a sudden becomes 4 mana instead of 2, and you can use that as a good finisher. Breath of Life, we're not really in a reanimating shell right now. Drill Sergeant, if you have a bunch of goblins, it's good. Falter, we can probably wheel. Kindle's fine. It's good removal. But I think I just would prefer to have a Torch and just be able to go to someone's dome as a finisher with it. Battle Screech, easy pick. If you haven't read the card, what it basically says in our deck is 2 white, and tap a creature, put 4 1/1s onto the battlefield with flying. So yeah, it's a really easy pick. It's just one of the best cards that you can have in a deck like this. All right, Rites of Initiation's here too. I'm definitely taking that, as much as I would love to have an Exile or a second Trooper. I do Battle Screech and I get a bunch of things, and then I discard like 3 cards, and it's just game over, given they don't have like Tangle or something like that. So yeah, it's a pretty easy Rites. All right, so there's a Reckless Charge, Shelter, another Tapper, and an Exile. Like, we're just going to be the aggressor here. So I think I just want another tapper just so I can, like, just get one of my creatures down and then just keep their creatures occupied until we do the, like, end of their turn, tap down a bunch of guys, untap, and then rites or whatever we choose to do at that point. Double Nomad? Well, that's too bad it was this pack. If it was earlier on, then we would have been really happy because we could have gotten one and then one after the other. But as it is, I'm definitely gonna take the Phantom Nomad. That's the foil because we're not playing any of the other cards and it's shiny. I mean, I would love to have both, but I think this is where we take the Falter. We already have a Shelter and a Chroma's Blessing, and Falter is just going to be a win con for us. We just go Falter rights if we have double red, and I don't know how we lose that game. Um, we don't have a ton of removal right now, but at the same time, I don't think we care. I think we just want to be making guys and turning them sideways and trying to murder as quickly as possible. Um, Jungle Worm is really bad against us because we're just going to have like a swarm of things. And we can probably just gang block it to the point where it just dies because of the effect. I guess we'll take the Mountain Valley in case we see something else we really want. I don't see us playing a Giant Strength or any of these other cards. Sure. I think we want Halo. Sweet. Afterlife. I'll cut the Psychotog because that card's super good. Alright. So we're definitely not playing that. Probably not playing the Judgment right now. What did we open? Bargain, Zealot, another Emissary. As long as you have 7 more cards, it gets +1/+1 in flying. That's a little too expensive for what I want to be doing, to be fair. Um, Solar Blast, we can take if we want more removal. It's that or the Emissary to just have more little guys running around beating on our opponents. We're probably not going to be able to cycle blast most of the time, so I think we're just going to take the Emissary. Yeah, Bless is like cool effect and all, but Ephemeron? Pretty good. It's basically just a Gilded Light for us. Can just take it for sideboard, or no, we gotta take Chain Lightning. Yeah, we're not taking Gilded Light. It doesn't do anything for us really, and Chain Lightning is removal in the early game for us, which I have a feeling is something that this deck is lacking a bit of. Um, hmm. I mean, Goblin Goon's probably going to be worth it in this deck. I think it's going to be better than most of these other cards. There. So yeah, I think I'm just going to take the Goblin Goon. These packs are not being kind to us, but yeah, it's going to be a 6/6 that can attack and can block because we are going to control more creatures than the other player. Uh, I would hope. I only have 11 creatures right now, but we already have a couple Afterlives. So we're not like super upset about that right now. I think we're just gonna take the other elite. It's just a way of negating a creature that the opponent has. Alternatively, we take like a cave, but I think we want to have our lands be untapped as much as possible. Yeah, just take the elite. Alright, another emissary. Yeah, pretty easy emissary. We're not going to be able to ramp anything up with lumberjack or do anything really good with any of these guys. I mean, we have troopers and emissaries, so if nothing else, we're going to be able to beat them down without them being able to really respond to us. Like, I don't see us being a defensive deck that runs out of cards easily, so I'm not too worried about that. I guess we'll just take another shelter. Color sort. But yeah. I guess we just have to take a hulking goblin. I don't know why we're getting cut in pack 3 after pack 1 and pack 2 were both flowing so nicely. But happens. Really just need white creatures, but I'm not seeing anything. Hmm. I don't know. Yeah, you're fine. So it must have been whoever was next to us or other people at the table at some point just got into it, and I was taking the good spells and stuff because we were getting a lot of creatures back. And then all of a sudden somebody else was like, "Oh, I should take the creatures." But I mean, that's how it works at the table sometimes. Yeah, we're not giving anyone a sorcerer. Take a second falter. And sure. Yeah. It's kind of hoping we can make the white weenie plan work, but we'll have to see if we can put it together. We're definitely lacking on what it wants is, and that is the weenies. But let's see what we can do. Do do do. Do. All you guys over there. We definitely want the torch. Guess we'll put those guys in for now. Probably play a shelter. Maybe 2, a halo. Definitely the blessing. Oh, I guess not definitely anything right now. Yeah, that's 29. Do. I guess all of these go down here. All right. So we have 2 tappers, double afterlife. You have the blessing, the rites, the charge. Probably not going to play the charge. Um, So we have trenches up here and battle screech. We have 17 creatures. Definitely keeping the armor, the torch, the rites, and the falter. I like to keep at least one of each of these, and the chain lightning, and the blessing. But we can't do that because it just isn't enough. Hmm. I guess Akroma's blessing is like another falter, so I'd rather just have the falter that we're more likely to be able to cast in the same turns as our rites. Because we don't want to be stuck where we have falter in our hand and rites, but we can only use one, and we have to use both to get the kill. With blessing, it's a lot more likely we can pull that off because we can make it so that all but a small amount of creatures are able to block. We'll cut a shelter. We'll cut an afterlife. I guess we'll cut the goon and the goblin. And that way we just have like, a few pieces of removal and some cute stuff going on, but for the most part it's turn guy sideways, win game. Alright. Can probably pull off 11-6, because we only need one red at any time. Alright, so I'm going to give this a shot. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in round 1.